Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Sonny here, coming at you guys with another Neverwinter video. And boy, oh boy, do I got a treat for you guys today. We are going to be reminiscing about the past of Neverwinter and my personal favorite module in the game, truthfully. And it all started around Mod 5. Okay. Now, I've been playing since Mod 5, so I've had the privilege of seeing how much Neverwinter has grown and all the changes it's been through, for better or worse. And this was what introduced me into this game and got me hooked into it. So we're going to be talking about that today. Okay. Mod 5, for those of you who don't know, was the rise of Tiamat. Okay. Back in the good old days, right? Now, unfortunately, if you missed out, man, it was some good times. Honestly, if you were playing around that time, I feel the general consumption was everybody had a good time. But I want to know what your guys' favorite mod was, or if you missed out on any of those old modules. You know, unfortunately, I feel kind of bad for you because you missed out on some of the best years of Neverwinter, in my opinion. Okay, but leave a comment down below. What was your favorite module? So this video isn't going to be anything too crazy. This is more just me talking and bullshitting with you guys and kind of giving you guys why it was one of my favorite modules. And yeah, just a fun video overall, But without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button with notification and like the video. You know what I mean? We're just chilling. We're having a good time in this video. Nothing crazy. Let's just talk about a couple things real quick. What are we on? Mod 17 is coming out in like 2 weeks, I want to say. No, the 25th? No. Okay, I think my next module is coming out in a week or two. So we're coming to the nitty gritty, and I figured, you know what, let's talk about my favorite module in Neverwinter. Okay, and now, let's just jump into the video. Enough rambling, Sonny. Tell us why you love that module. Now, first things first, when I started playing this game, okay, the Barbarian, or back in the day, the Great Weapon Fighter, was just that guy with a big-ass sword, okay? And I was like, well, damn, that looked pretty gangster, and I've been playing that class ever since, so clearly it's been fucking the shit. Maybe I'll do another video about why I picked the Barbarian, why it's just my favorite class still to this day in Neverwinter. So I got a lot of video ideas coming up. I'm going to be pumping them out for you. But we're here talking about the module, right? I'm getting off topic, sorry. But back in the day, for those of you who don't know, if you come over here to the queue, these dungeons are still in the game. Now, unfortunately, they're useless. But for those of us who grew up, the PK days, the Frozen Heart, even to an extent, where is it? Caverns, you know what I mean? Those were the OG dungeons, okay? Even Castle Never, Spell Plague. No, not Spell Plague. No. What's a Spell Plague? Yeah, Spell Plague. I want to say it was Spell Plague, where the giant brain. Now, I never got to run the original Castle Never, okay? Because back in my day, it was the hardest dungeon around. And I wasn't, that intertwined with the community and the game as a whole. So I actually never got to run the original CN. Never even went in the dungeon, okay? I am so disappointed in myself just that I didn't even get to go in it, not at least once. But let me tell you guys a little bit about just the enjoyment you had, okay? So in Pirate King, you just get your buddies, 5 of you, right? And back in the day, there used to the greater mark of potencies and greater marks of powers and greater marks of stabilities used to go for millions of AD, okay? So it's just, it's just a night. We got the boys together, we're in a party, we're bullshitting, and we're just farming the shit out of PK, bro. Got no care in the world, We're running to the end of the campfire, wiping, and we would make a circle, for greater mark of potency. One person would get it, then the next person. And it was just overall, it was a good time. Everybody was having fun, right? The rogues were overpowered as shit with the Shadow of Demise and everything. And they could just one-shot bosses practically. And every drop was for the rogue, okay? So everybody and their mother wanted a rogue, no matter who you are. So, of course, those were the days of booting and looting, all right? Now, unfortunately, if you weren't with a group, 9 times out of 10, I ain't going to sit here and lie, You were gonna get booted. I've done my fair share. I ain't gonna sit here and beat around the bush. I've done my fair share of booting and looting. But at the same time, I have got it done to me plenty of times. But that's what made me do it. I mean, maybe it was wrong of me, but I said, fuck it, yo. I keep getting booted from the dungeon, and I'm not even getting the drops. But all in all, I still had a good time. Regardless of, the booting and looting or whatever the case may be. I just put in the chat, bro, like, just give me the chest. I'll pass on the marks. I just want my damn money. If you want to kick me, but at least let me get my chest first. That's what I would put in the chat, just jokingly. Okay. And now another thing is, so say you didn't even want to do PK. All right. This is where you're at, bro. The Well of Dragons, man. We had a rotation back in the day. Okay. And it was a pretty simple rotation. But back in the day, the only way to get to Tiamat was to go to the door itself, believe it or not. Nowadays you can just queue it. Even for E-Demo, you had to go to the under dark zone and go stand by the door when it popped up, on the screen over here. You see how it says next Stronghold Marauders, next Stronghold PvP at the bottom right hand corner of the screen? Maybe I'll circle it or something like that, but it's pretty clear as day. Rise of Tiamat will come up there. And I believe it was come on. Now, this is where my memory is a little bit foggy, but I believe on the hour was Tiamat, and then like 15 minutes before Tiamat was the dragons, okay? And there was 1, 2, 3, 4 dragons, right? 1, 2. There was one in the top right, one in the bottom right, so there's 4 dragons, okay? So the rotation was, and we would just do this all day, and it was just fun because you had a good time. You made money. It was just a good time. Maybe, if I go back and, look at it, maybe it wasn't as good as the time. But for me, it was awesome, right? Just playing with the guys. We would do the dragons, okay? Do Tiamat, and then go run PK. Or run Frozen Heart, or whatever the case may be. And we just did that all day, and you didn't get bored for some reason. I don't know what it made it. Maybe if you were doing it by yourself, but... standing by the door, we were asking when are the good people going in, right? Because it was just kind of first come, first serve, right? Hit or miss. That's what just made the game to me kind of more, maybe in a sense fun, because you just had to go through the door randomly and we'd be like, yo, when the fuck do we go in? Like, when are the good people going in, right? And I want to say the good people went in last, I believe, if I remember correctly, because everybody just went in first. And then I believe the better people just stood back, if I can remember correctly. My memory ain't what it used to be, okay? But still, you just see like, I'm going to say hundreds of people by the door, but you can't even fit that many people in the instance. But you guys know what I mean. Like the lobbies would be full of 40 people. And everybody's just doing Tiamat, bro. That was this thing to do. And it was just a good ass time, bro. And you just can't, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like overthinking it, or maybe I'm just over exaggerating, but to me it was just so much fun, coming on. It was a time when I actually came on and enjoyed myself. Now I'm not gonna sit here and lie, the game is at a point where it's just stale. I mean, you can't beat around the bush. You're either doing two things, Lom or Tom, right? And both dungeons are, they have their flaws, they have their ups and their downs. But back then, I just feel like it was just a better time, Or maybe, and then they even had the heroic encounters, I believe. Okay? No, did they have the... No, they didn't have the heroic encounters, but they did have these little ones as well. And back in those days, you actually got some decent shit from the heroic encounters. Because back then, it wasn't as... farming back then was more profitable than it was now, than it is now, Now it's so easy to get refinement, it's ridiculous. You can get it for pennies, maybe not pennies, but, you can get it for hundreds on the dollar. But back then, it was more beneficial to farm it because it was more expensive, right? And it was just, overall, I just felt the game as itself was just a better time, There was nothing like Mod 5, in my opinion, for me, okay? Just doing the PK runs, booting and looting, right? Fucking rogues were overpowered. Everybody wanted a control. Everybody wanted a rogue. But the fun part was when you got your buddies and Neverwinter couldn't handle the CW. Like, I don't know. I'm not really like savvy, so I don't know exactly what happened. But you can literally crash the game when you use your dailies. If you just spam the screen, or if you did too much at one time, you would just close somebody's game. So to me, that was pretty funny. I thought that was just cool that you could do that with a game that you can. Now I don't think it's possible. Now it's just a game. If it closes out on you, it's just because it's Neverwinter. But back then, I thought it was pretty cool that you can actually, by using your dailies or doing too much on the screen, the game would just close. Just because it couldn't handle it. But it would be pretty cool to do sometimes. Where your buddies are, because it was just a race to the DPS. Back then it was TRs. Sure, the TRs were good, but I felt almost every class could keep up. Because there was the rogues, there was the barbarians, even control wizards back then. I feel were pretty reliable. So it was just a pretty all in all good time. Now, of course, they did favor the rogues in the beginning. Because no matter what dungeon you ran, there was rogue drops. If you were a great weapon fighter, there was only one place, and I believe it was the caverns, or was it Castle Never? I think you had to run like two of the harder dungeons in order to get the great weapon fighter stuff. But I eventually got it. I got the Avatar War set, which was like the BIS set back in those days, and that was another thing. Having getting those sets, and them sets actually meaning something, right? These sets to me now are just, they don't feel the same, right? There's nothing, maybe it's because it's back in the day, so it's going to be more nostalgic to me. But I just feel as a whole, it was just a better time in the game. I feel it was a lot more enjoyable, and I just had fun with it. Maybe, I'm not sure what it was, or maybe I'm just not overthinking it. It was just a better time, and it was just a better game back then, in my opinion, right? Of course, things change and the game has to progress. But still, I just want to make this video. I don't want to make it too long here. But if you guys have a favorite mod or have a favorite memory of playing back then, just let me know down in the comments below. I want to hear your guys' feedback on this one. We were just having a cool kind of vibe session here. I had this idea out of the blue, reminiscing. I was just sitting here playing another game actually, and I was like, you know what? Let's make a Neverwinter video talking about like one of my favorite mods, and maybe I'll do another video where, like I said in the beginning, I'll make a video of why I chose the Barbarian, right? I think that would be a pretty interesting video. Maybe you guys always wondered, or maybe never knew you wanted to know, right? Because I've been playing since the beginning, fellas. And I'm still here. I mean, I may have not always done YouTube, but if you check out some of my older videos, I actually have a video of Well and the Dragons, and it's a shitty video. Obviously, the quality isn't as good as it now, but it's just like those memories and shit. And then, even for instance, people calling out in the zone, bro, to get into dragons. It was just makes me want to go back in time and just have those good ass memories again. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. But anyway, it has been your boy Sonny here, and as always, I will check you guys out in the next one.